character is
desire
really
to have an adventure is much stronger than the fear that something will go wrong.
You're leading your life on intuition. Like it seems almost like your intuition is a very strong part of your life.
Kovaginos me canaest, weil tu hagakai. Mordi, rovela patute, teginos me doch kai tu ha, alevos me kui. Bistrato Ashukar marot zero his Bistrato al medui me kama Pashtute Smerar bartalo Kovaginos mekanaest, weil tu hagakai.
Because you have to do the mood sharing for becoming good at a certain profession, but also the intuition on the part seems to be very important in your life.
Yeah, that is very true, but how did you find that out? I don't how do you know that?
Because I didn't particularly hear that you did some preparing for all those things that you rolled into, and you got kind of life that you could earn your money out of doing things that you didn't really study for years for it. It just like in the music says, everything happens to me, like Chet Baker sings, you know.
Yeah. It's a good song.
And so it seems to be like the guideline in your life that it just, you bump into situations and suddenly you're...
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah,
and you know, often people ask me, like, people always think that I can do a certain job that maybe I have never done before. But as a freelancer, you have to take any job that you can get, because otherwise you can't survive. So usually it happened to me so often that I got an offer for any kind of assignment. Can't think of an example now. And I said yes, and I quickly had to learn how to do it.
Yeah, but you're not afraid to jump into to the unknown and be adventurous and taking risk and improvise.
Yeah,
I guess the improvising combined with adventurous way of living the way you do. I mean, maybe not adventurous in a way of dangerous, but no. Some people are already afraid to do things that they're not sure about, and probably you never had problems with that part.
It's so funny. Indeed. Yeah, oh yeah, one of the things that I did as an adventure, I published, you see the little book on the table there, it's called Vandaag.
Yeah.
I'll show it to the camera.
Yeah, show it to the camera.
I'm
please.
going to translate it finally. Vandaag, my book, little book, very cute little book. And I wrote that, like, I don't know when it was published.
The book means the title of the book is Today.
Yeah, the title of the book is Today. And
it's like almost Buddhistic, like you have to live in the now.
Actually, yes, indeed. And I had this image of how I wanted the layout, and I was pretty sure that the publisher, any publisher, would do something that I didn't like. So I said, I want to do the layout of the book. I said, okay. And the publisher said, yeah, that's okay, you can do it. And then I had to learn how to do that, because I never did it before.
Yeah, but the funny part is, and I come back on it again, like, suddenly you show a book with, the way I see it, really, really wonderful cartoon kind of things that you made, really outstanding. But normally when people do things like that, or they go writing for newspapers or doing illustration for newspapers, they say, yeah, I've been in the School of Arts and I've been in the School for Journalistic things and so forth. But for you, it seems like you suddenly happen to be in that kind of area. You meet people, and suddenly you're getting lifted off and just get a kind of career suddenly, almost out of nothing.
I have had so
building
many
up
careers
from
already.
scratch.
That's true. Yeah.
Go back really in time. I mean, how you came on the guitar? Where did that start? Was it when you were in your younger
15.
days? Or?
Yeah, well, I grew up in a musical family, and my father and my mother both played piano really very, very, very good, or very high
Classical
level.
or?
Classical.
Yeah.
Though my father also played some, not really jazz, but some more entertainment kind of music.
And what was the kind of music that they had in their library? So
that was all classical music. As little kids, my sister and I
mainly
recognized all the composers, like this is Bach, this is Vivaldi, this is that, because we grew up with that.
And in those years it was kind of normal that you had house concerts and friends were invited, no?
No house concerts, but all the friends of my father, mostly my father's friends, they came to make music, so they were playing quatre mains, four hands on the piano. Then there was one friend with a guitar who had a very nice husky voice, who would sing Hungarian songs. And or sometimes with some friends we would just be, my father and I and some visitors
how old
play some games, and we would be singing in harmony, like
you were then like
playing.
15 or what?
And then I was like 12, 13, 14, 15, something like that.
And did the guitar attracted you?
We didn't have a guitar at first, but my father came home once with a guitar in his hand when I was 15, and he taught me 3 chords, and because he couldn't play actually.
I guess it must have been a Spanish guitar with nylon strings.
Yeah, nylon string guitar, just is very cheap. And he said, if you can play these 3 chords, like A and C and E or something,
you can make a song.
You can play any song. And then I started to learn. I loved at that time Joan Baez, and I started to learn all her songs.
There you go.
When I was 16, I played in. At that time, it was called jazz and poetry cafes in Amsterdam, and they liked folk singers at that time. And so I played with those few chords that I knew. I played and sang all the Joan Baez.
We're talking about the 60s, right?
Yeah, 60s. And so here in Amsterdam, in different cafes. And then later I stopped with the guitar, and I didn't really learn anything. I didn't know I could never play rhythm or play.
So the fire
with the
really
guitar
wasn't burning for the guitar right then.
The fire in my heart has always been burning for the guitar because it's my favorite instrument to listen to, and I would have loved to learn to play jazz actually, or Brazilian, or both bossa and jazz.
And why jazz?
Because I just love jazz. Yeah.
The whole atmosphere around it.
I love the vibe of the music.
It
makes me creative.
Did you listen very?
Yeah, later when I was living here many years ago now, when I was living here in Amsterdam alone, and I was dancing most of the time. At that time, jazz and jazz dance. And then I had jazz dance lessons in the evening until 11 o'clock. Then I returned home, and here in the center of Amsterdam also. And then I would start to draw. Always play jazz. I had so many jazz records.
Now listen, honey, to what I say. Did you just tell me you're going away? Don't say that we must part. Don't break my aching heart. I loved you dearly for many years. I loved you night and day. Now don't you leave me, can't you see my tears? Listen to what I say.
It was a nice morning, and I thought
I'll
treat myself to a coffee on a little terrace somewhere. And while I was sitting there having my espresso, I noticed that those two guys had guitar cases under their chairs. And we started to talk, and then they found out I still had a guitar that I inherited from my father, a classical guitar. And they convinced me that it would be so easy to learn to play minor swing. I didn't know anything about this style of music. I knew the name of Django Reinhardt, I heard of Stockolo Rosenberg Trio, but that's all. So they taught me to play minor swing. You know, you only have to do like this, and then you can already play minor swing. And then Kevin Nolan offered to teach me, and at first I didn't want to do that because I thought it's no use, it doesn't make any sense, blah blah blah. And finally I gave in, and I started to take lessons with Kevin, which was very useful. So through them, you know, we became friends, and I met more people from the Gypsy jazz scene. But I was not really, I was always very much into music, and I love jazz. So keep meeting more people.
Do you remember particular concerts that inspired you?
I remember, I also liked experimental music. So
which means,
for instance, well, they played like outlandish, out of this world kind of music that had not a real connection even anymore to free jazz, but
you have connection with names of people that you really like?
I forgot. Then there was a musician there and one there, and then
Dutch musicians or more American?
American, and then
like Cecil Taylor.
One was Japanese, and he was in that corner, and then there was, so you didn't know what was happening. The music was coming from all the directions.
Yeah, I remember the Shusaku and Dance Company. They worked as well with me.
I don't know.
Yeah, but so yeah. That was the free jazz, so to speak.
I liked all the experimental stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
I still do actually, but only live. When you hear that on a CD, it's horrible. But when it's live, it can be very interesting.
It's an experience you have to feel and be there and
then you can and at that
celebrate
time,
with people.
I used to have horrible headaches in those years. Like migraine.
Yeah.
But when I was at a concert, I still do. I always sit in the front. I want to be near the music, and then the music was very loud, and I just let it go through my head like a
musical massage.
Like a waterfall, like a cleansing kind of experience. Yeah. I remember one evening, my parents had a friend over for dinner, a man that I didn't know so well, and while we were eating, there was this record of Pete Fountain playing, and then this guy was looking, and I was looking at him. I was 9 years old or something, and I thought, now he likes it. This part he doesn't like. This part he likes. This part he doesn't like. He was just bobbing bobbing his head to the music, but I had no clue.
Yeah.
Apparently that was something that my parents wouldn't do.
Yeah. And but your life get another direction. I mean, you were like doing writing for newspapers. You were kind of journalistic.
I was a journalist and an artist.
But that didn't happen overnight. I mean, did you prepare it, or did you?
Well, my only professional training is to be an artist, a painter. So I was actually hired as an illustrator for a magazine, and then they asked me to write an article, and I thought, I said, I've never done that before, I'm not sure you will like it. And they said, yeah, but I think you can do it, can't you? And I said, yeah, I actually also thought I could do it. So, and then I wrote for them for a while, and then I went to with the Trans-Siberia Express through Russia, and I was going to write about it for them, and then one of the newspapers heard about that, and they said, hey, can you do that for us as well, and make drawings.
That's how the ball starts rolling.
Yeah, and then I had to write about gifted children and gifted education for one of the newspapers, and then I wanted to do that for a bigger, more important newspaper, so all national newspapers.
And it was a period of time like 20 years or so?
Ago?
No, I mean not ago, but the period that you worked for the newspapers.
I don't really know, because once I got children I stopped working for a while because I wanted to be 100% at home for my kids.
And was there any place for music in all those years?
No, no. Well, while I was, until I had children, I was always playing.
But I mean,
I was playing recorder and playing piano.
Suddenly you show a book with, the way I see it, really, really wonderful cartoon kind of things that you made, really outstanding. But normally when people do things like that, or they go writing for newspapers or doing illustration for newspapers, they say, yeah, I've been in the School of Arts and I've been in the School for Journalistic things and so forth. But for you it seems like you suddenly happen to be in that kind of area, you meet people, and suddenly you're getting lifted off and just get a kind of career suddenly, almost out of nothing.
I have had so
building
many
up from scratch.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. It's really
building up from scratch sketch books,
yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah, it's true. So I did the layout for this book, the illustrations and the text. I did actually everything, and now I'm doing the same again for a new book that I'm making with our mutual friend. It's about yoga, and it's funny and it's useful and it's nice and it's beautiful. And I'm doing the photography and the drawings and the layout, so I'm using that.
So you're a very versatile person,
yeah,
so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also a matter indeed of survival. I mean, indeed, if you have to make money with whatever comes your way, the only things I am capable of doing are artistic things. Don't ask me to do administration or cleaning or...
Before we go more into musical...
I can only do artistic things, so
yeah.
I take any artistic job.
But to illustrate more your personality, more than we did already, is what is the most crazy thing that you almost don't understand yourself that you did in your life?
I can't think of anything.
I mean, you don't have to. If you cannot come jump on it, then forget it.
No,
forget about the
maybe
question.
I didn't do so many crazy things.
Because you're so adventurous. So you must
Yeah.
have done some quite crazy things, like going on your own to Paris and sleep in the street or whatever.
I never did. Like, I was not that kind of a hippie or outside of society. It was just when I was like 14 or something, I had this dream of being in a hotel all by myself.
Did you travel a lot when you...
Well, as a kid, no. I asked my father then when I was 14, I said, I want to be in a hotel. Can I go to a hotel in just in Amsterdam where I lived?
Yeah.
Just to be in a hotel, have that feeling of being a traveler somehow.
Yeah.
And my father completely understood the feeling, but he said, you're too young, it's not allowed yet, so if you wait a few years, you can do that. And now I still love, I love hotels, and anyway, I love to travel. So
that's where you meet people from...
Well, one crazy thing is, what I didn't do, by the way, because I could not, but when I was 12, or even younger, we had these books from the Time Life series. Do you remember those big photo books?
Yes, I remember.
And one was about a kibbutz in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And with big photos, and you saw all the children sitting around the fire, making music, playing recorder. I played alto recorder. And
not an easy instrument.
Oh yeah, well, I played that for many years, and at that time, actually, that was an instrument that I played really well. Guitar, I'm still learning, but alto recorder at that time was very good. Not anymore. Anyway, I was playing flute, and I saw those pictures of the people in the kibbutz, and I read the book about how they, during the day, they went to pick olives and grapefruits and stuff like that. But especially they were sitting around the fire at night all together and making music and maybe dancing a little bit and singing. So I said to my parents I wanted to move to a kibbutz. I was ready to leave my family and just go by myself to go to Israel and live in a kibbutz. I didn't even think that I would miss. I come from a really nice family. My parents are wonderful people. My sister and I are still best friends. So it's not that I wanted to run away. I think I felt so safe at home, so safe that my parents are somehow always there, you know, they're there anyway. So I didn't think about that at all, I was just a kid. But I was actually, if they would have given me a plane ticket, I would have gone off to a kibbutz to live there. And that's actually maybe the first link to the life I like now so much, which is the gypsy life, where you sit around a fire and you make music together.
There you go.
It was about making music.
Yeah.
That attracted me to be together.
There's a strong connection between people without having too many introductions or words or whatever.
When you make music together, that's a kind of communication that is from a different I was always into music in my heart, but I could not make music for like 20-25 years because of I had like already so many professions. And actually I was the manager of a famous opera singer. Did I tell you that?
You were the manager of the...
Of Christina Deutekom.
Christina Deutekom?
Yes.
World star.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So that was how I was involved in music.
So it happened coincidentally, or?
Yes.
See, there you go again. I mean, it's, your whole life seems to be like you're in a kind of roller coaster, jumping from one great.
Exactly, that's exactly what happens. I was helping to organize the cultural part of a world conference on gifted education, and which was for me also the first time that I did that.
It's a Dutch Maria Callas, so to speak.
Yeah, the Christina Deutekom is the Dutch Maria Callas, absolutely. She was very world famous. Now she died, but she's absolutely world famous. She had always the main part in the Queen of the Night, and she sang as Queen of the Night for President Kennedy in the Metropolitan Opera in New York.
You went with her?
No, at that time I didn't know her yet. That was before my time.
So
when I was a kid, my father would say, he would play her records and say, listen, La Deutekom, you know.
Yeah, La Deutekom.
kind of.
Yeah.
And I never dreamt that I would ever meet her. So anyway, for this conference, I helped organize, like, think about what cultural program can we do in this conference. And somebody said we should have a master class. It was not my idea, but it was a very nice idea of a musician. And then somebody else said it should be a Dutch famous musician, because this conference is now in Holland. So it's also a good idea. Then somebody else said, I know Christina Deutekom. And so he wrote her several letters, never got an answer. Or emails or whatever he wrote her at any rate, he never got an answer. So in the end I said, well, maybe I'll call her, I'll just call her.
Yeah.
And she was wonderful on the phone, and she said, I'm not sure I can do that, give a master class, I've never done that. What do you think? Will I be able to do that? And I said, of course you can do that, no doubt. And she said, well, if you say so, I'll do it. And so then I had to organize a master class. I didn't even know what a master class was, hardly. So I went to the conservatory in The Hague and I asked for advice. And they told me, yeah, you need auditions, you need an audition committee, and blah, 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 blah. So we did that. I don't know how I pulled it off, but I got all kinds of expert singers together and we made an audition committee. Of course, I asked Christina also her opinion. And we had auditions in the conservatory, and then and I liked the whole organization of that so much. And then we had this masterclass during the conference, and with the final concert. So it was a big conference with like almost 1,000 people, I think. And how do you say this? At the end of the conference we had a concert as a result of the master class. So all the singers were performing on the stage. I was presenting that, which I had never done before either. And then I liked that so much, and I thought, oh, if something could come from this. I don't know what. I could not imagine what it could be. And then the phone rang and it was Christina, and she said, I want to ask you, will you be my, I don't know what to, I think manager may be not 100% the right word, representative, do you want to represent me?
Yeah.
And
amazing.
And I said,
amazing.
I would love to, but I don't know how to do that. I never did that before. And she said, well, you know, while you do, you learn.
Yeah.
And so I worked with her for almost 7 years, and then I got kind of a burnout at that time. I was too tired because I had many different professions at the same time, plus 2 little kids. And
like I say, you were kind of versatile. And,
yeah.
You jump into a new field that's unknown, but without any fear, you just start to explore and to learn.
Yeah, it's actually, that is a good
That's
point. My sense, my
character is
desire
really
to have an adventure is much stronger than the fear that something will go wrong.
You're a gypsy in creativity.
Yeah.
Natural by heart.
I just love adventures. I don't like to take big risks. That's not the case. But some risks I can take. Like, you know, this time I'll go there. I'm not sure it's going to be nice. Maybe it's not nice, but I won't risk my life or something. But yeah, I take the risk that maybe it's not nice. Maybe the people are not as nice as I thought. Maybe the venue is horrible. Maybe the concert will be bad or whatever. But if I think this is an attractive opportunity, I'll just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of jump or make a big leap.
If Irene says tomorrow to me, come Irene, play a concert with me, which would be completely ridiculous, I would still do it. Even if I would make a fool of myself, even if everybody would say she's crazy and you can't do that and blah blah blah. If a nice opportunity knocks on my door, I always say yes to it.
I guess that's the key point of your, why you're doing what you're doing. Because then suddenly you pick up the guitar out of the blue almost.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
And that, in itself, it's already...
Well, those guys pushed me, I must say, to pick up the guitar, because I said it's no use, I can't do it, I will never play.
But they always say when you start like on a later period in your life, say whatever that may be, but if you're over 50 or you say, well then learning of an instrument is more difficult than, because when you're young you absorb everything and it seems to be like coming natural, and also because of your being lean and gymnastic and whatever you need for instruments.
Yeah.
And if you do it on when you're matured, that's the word, let's say matured, whatever that may be, but it's in itself, it's already, it's amazing that, very surprisingly, that you are where you are now and learning in such a short amount of time. Because I heard you play.
Oh, you didn't think it was stupid?
Also a fact that I remembered about you is that you speak like 5 or 6 languages. And was it home study or did you learn it by traveling?
I used to start to learn a language because I wanted to travel to a certain country, like Russia, China, Peru. And when I went to Peru for the first time, I went there to make reports on development projects. And I wanted to be able to speak with children and with people without education.
You're talking about Spanish or?
Spanish.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want an interpreter. I wanted to be able to connect with people directly. But also I just like to learn languages. I just love it. It's wonderful. And then I read the literature of Latin America, and there are so many authors. The whole world opens for you when you start to learn a language. Even if you read the literature in English, it's still, you're suddenly connected to that part of the world. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I learned Spanish because I went to visit development projects in different places in Peru. I learned Russian because I wanted, just for myself, I was very interested in going to Russia. I wanted to see Leningrad and Moscow, go by Trans-Siberia Express, spend more time there, be able to speak.
But it's crazy learning Russian, I mean.
Yeah, it's difficult, and it's a long time ago. And I still speak it a little bit, and when I hear people, I'm like, I recognize words all the time, and then I really would.
Well, you're interested in sound.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it, and also in the, the movement,
in the rhythm of the language.
In the kind of waves that a language makes.
Yeah.
Like Chinese. I learned Chinese because actually I was starting to learn Chinese because I felt my brain was turning into pudding a little bit, and there was no stimulants anymore from my brain to do something. Actually, I can't believe it, but I gave a speech in Indonesian for the Faculty of Psychology, Developmental Psychology in Bandung, and at the university, about street children in Bandung. And I gave a speech of almost half an hour in Indonesian language. I wanted to be sure that they understood what I was saying. So I learned the language also at that time because I wanted to visit the projects of street children and be able to speak with the children. And at that time, in one of those houses where young boys lived, they had a guitar. They didn't know what to do with it.
Kijk,
and
here we go.
Yeah, and I taught them how to tune the guitar and how to play the House of the Rising Sun, but you can do it like A,
Yeah.
And they wanted me to sing it in Indonesian because they didn't understand the text. So on the fly, I translated. I was singing it in Bahasa Indonesia. I'm like, when I look back at myself, I'm like, what? Did I do that? Yeah, I did. And the interesting thing about that was not that I could sing that in Indonesian, because that was actually not as difficult as that speech about street children. These were street children, and in Indonesia at that time, not sure about now, but I'm assuming it won't be much better, they would get those kids from the street, some of them 5 years old, some 12 or 16, and they would put them in jail with grown-up men instead of taking care of them. And so this song, The House of the Rising Sun, I never realized what it was really about, but it's about similar situations, like going to jail and make sure you never go there because it will ruin your life. And so those boys were understanding the lyrics And then I, for the first time, understood the lyrics.
Mm.
They were crying because it was their song.
Yeah.
It was about their life. I had no idea when I was teaching them that song that it made sense actually to do that. It was interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by this story about all the stories, but particularly also about this enormous talent for sounds and learning all these languages.
Yeah, like now I just love the Romanesque language, you know, that the Gypsies.
Which is a
Sinti.
gathering of different.
It's actually, it derives from Sanskrit. It's because the Sinti, they come originally like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, I think, from Pakistan, India, Nepal, that area, and I keep forgetting where exactly, but they're in the Far East. And then throughout the ages they traveled and traveled and traveled, and the language, of course, they split up in different directions, and the language developed in different directions as well, but they have the roots in the same place. So when you hear Sinti speak in the Netherlands now, then you go, I went to Nepal, I was in Nepal, and you hear people speak there, you hear the same words. They have so many words in common with each other. You have to see they have the same roots. And but so Sinti language is like that root from Sanskrit, from that how do you call it, area, India, Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mixed in later years, of course, with the languages of the countries that they traveled through. So now sometimes you will recognize German words or words that sound almost like German, and some other things. And also even within the Netherlands, in different villages, they have different pronunciations and they use different words. It's incredible.
So you had so many influences in your life from many cultures.
Yeah.
And you bumped into this suddenly into the guitar and learning the guitar like you did your whole life, learning things that you just pick it up and start and see where it will bring you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess now all these things you did throughout your life are very important in your music, because you also write your own lyrics.
Yeah.
And you sing in French, and you can sing in English, of course, and in Spanish, and
Russian, and
Russian,
Romanesque.
Romanesque.
Yeah.
So suddenly it all falls into place,
yeah.
almost.
That is
and that's
true.
why maybe you're developed so strong and so.
There's no reverb on the playback, right?
No, it's just
okay.
I bring out a record, and all these people are playing my songs. Moses Rosenberg, Noesje Rosenberg, Paulus Scheven, Feigerly Priso, all the big gypsies that I love and adore and admire, playing my songs.
And how many songs you?
Well, on this CD
now?
there are 10 songs that I all wrote.
Yeah, but all in all, how many songs you have waiting to be
Performed?
To be played or to be performed
no,
or
not,
to be
I started just
to develop or
I just started not long ago to write songs, so I think I have 15 maybe or 16 in total. But
and how you come to choose the language in which you are going to perform the song? Like you do French, you do
yeah, it depends.
English,
but
Spanish.
I wrote a little waltz, and it had a Parisian feeling to it. Maybe I have that with all waltzes. No, not at all. And so then I think this is French. What does it remind me of? It reminds me of the Place Saint-Michel, which is like my favorite spot to go to when I go to Paris. First place I go to.
So you've been quite often to Paris?
In the past, often. Nowadays, I don't have time to go to Paris.
We gaan het nog rijden hoor. Mannen genomen?
Dat heb ik altijd nog.
2, 3, start.
just want to take time out suddenly to make my adventure and show your place where you're living. And the art on the walls is actually your art.
Everything on the wall is my art.
So I want to show the guitars, the beautiful guitars that you have already gathered in this very short amount of time. And
that green painting is interesting. It's made by Rinus Groeneveld.
what's on the floor?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
He's a very talented guy.
And this is yours too?
Everything, yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So yeah, because you're kind of exhausting me in a very positive way, I just want to show all your talents that came to bloom in your life. And yeah, I just had to do this. This golden thing, you made it?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, I'm not gonna film everything. I just want to have a little impression of your crazy life, so to speak.
It's a kind of crazy life.
Yeah.